Hello, and welcome to Wellness Wednesday, where we take a moment to be able to look at a key component to the Midlife Metabolism Reset Way so that you can feel empowered with making amazing, health optimizing decisions throughout the course of the week. So today we're going to talk about whole foods. Seems like a simple topic, right? We're actually going to take a little bit of a different spin on identifying the reasons why whole foods are so incredibly important. We're also going to look at simple ways and strategies for you to be able to integrate them into your busy lifestyle. My name is Kim Jakes. I'm a midlife health and lifestyle coach, and I specialize in helping midlife women be able to reset their metabolism with ease so that you can lose weight and feel great in this amazing season of life. Now, a cornerstone to the Midlife Metabolism Reset Way is we are looking to design a life that you love, right? That's a long-term sustainable strategy for optimizing health. We never really look at restriction and sacrifice. We look at how to really integrate amazing, rich foods that you can crave because they're so delicious, that are so simple to be able to prepare for your busy life, right? So designing a life that you love is really what we talk about. Today, as I said, we're going to talk about whole foods. Why? Well, food is information. Okay, I want you to think about that for a second. I'm going to highlight that first. Food is also nutrition, right? And we break down how we describe food nutrition into macros and micros. Macros are carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. Micros are things like vitamins and minerals. We're also going to talk about ways in which we can identify which whole foods are best for our individual metabolism by utilizing a strategy that I have coming up to identify food sensitivities. So I want to talk first about food is information. This is a concept that has been highlighted over the last decade. And I want to give you a little picture on what that means. Food is information. Well, we look at our food in terms of macronutrients, fats, proteins, and carbohydrates, micronutrients like minerals and vitamins, but understand the very foods that you choose to eat are changing the expression of your DNA. Right. So your genes are inside your DNA. They're programs that tell your body how to function, how to heal, how to age. Right. These are programs that provide information to your body. And the food that you choose is changing the expression of your DNA. This is so incredibly powerful. Dr. Perlmutter, who is a famous neurologist, is one individual who's been highlighting this, but it is across the board: food, nutrition, medical providers, functional doctors. They're all talking about the impact that food really has this deeply inside our body. Whole foods that are grown locally also are information for our body. When a food source is grown in our environment, in our town, it's growing in the same climate that we're growing up in. Right. So it's receiving the same amount of rain that our body is. It's receiving the same amount of heat that our body is. It is harmonious, energetically harmonious with where we are in the world. Right. Also, it's being grown in soil, hopefully organic soil that has not been treated with pesticides and herbicides, because if it's grown in organic soil, it's being introduced to bacteria that allow for our microbiome to be seeded with information. Microbiome and bacteria are actually information for our body to be able to thrive in our environment. We don't often think about it that way, but it's quite true. And if they're being grown in the same environment and receiving the same environmental information, they're actually being grown with resilience to the same exact environment. So they're allowing for their identity to absorb how to be resilient inside the environment that we are in. So we don't often think about that, but it is really important to just plant the seed, if you will, for understanding why locally grown whole foods are more than just the nutritional facts on the back of the box. They are affecting our DNA. They are affecting our bacteria in our gut, which is so incredibly helpful energetically. They're integrating us into our place in the world. Okay, so those are some fun facts. It also is very interesting that in our grocery store, the place that we go to purchase food, there's actually a small section of that grocery store, typically, that would be considered a health food section. Scratch, like head scratch, right? Curious, isn't it? That there's a small section of our grocery store that's either identified as a health food section or a natural food section. And if you look at the grocery store itself, the way that its floor plan is set up, there'll be the outer edges, which typically have refrigeration, which means that those are perishable foods. Those are typically the only whole foods in the grocery store. To be fair, there's some in between the aisles, things like, beans, rice, things like that. But typically, if you look at it, the majority of the aisle space in the grocery store, unless it's that natural food aisle, and even that natural food aisle typically has a lot of processed food down it, organic processed food, but still processed food. The edges is really the only space in the grocery store that has whole foods. So as you're going to the grocery store next time, I would like you to just take a moment and think about, where are you spending the majority of your time shopping? Not only does it cut down the time shopping to stay on the periphery of the grocery store, not meandering up and down the aisles, but it also keeps you pretty secure in the fact that you're going to be having whole food choices on your plate. Now, food is information, but it is also macronutrients. And when we talk about macronutrients, it's carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. And as a woman in our midlife, it's important for us to be aware of reducing our carbohydrate load. All right. When we are eating whole foods, that is a natural process, right? If we are eating vegetables, those are filled with carbohydrates, but far less carbohydrates for the most part than processed foods. And they're filled with the nutrients that we need. They also typically, if we're eating animal proteins, they're typically filled with appropriate levels of fat. If we are eating things like avocados, that's appropriate levels of fat as well, right? Olive oils, avocado oils, coconut oils, those are healthy versions of fat for our body. And as a midlife woman, if we are looking to lose weight and optimize our health, it is important to stay underneath 100 carbohydrates a day. We don't need to restrict them completely, but you can typically do that if you just add so many amazing whole foods to your plate. You're just not hungry, and you don't need to be satisfied by a processed food. Thinking about proteins is also really important, and fats as well. So in the Midlife Metabolism Reset way, we look at and identify how to create a simple meal that allow for you to not even have to think about your food. You just know, when I make my plate look like this, I know that I'm having a balanced macronutrient food experience. There's also micronutrients. And again, plants, vegetables, fruit, meat, whole foods in general are chock full of vitamins and minerals. So when you are making your plates just look like amazing animal proteins, plant and vegetable food, when you make amazing recipes that just inspire excitement and delight that are all whole food based, you are getting vitamins and minerals in an abundant supply as well, which is so important to a midlife metabolism. So here you have this whole food experience, maybe locally grown, in order to give your body some information, even if it's not everything. But then you're noticing that you're just not losing weight. You're still feeling like you are inflamed on some level. That's why one of the very first steps we take in the Midlife Metabolism Reset way is we look at identifying what food sensitivities you may have. And we don't do this through laboratory tests. We literally do this through spending about 10 days eating and exploring amazing recipes that are simple to make, that taste great, that are devoid of all food sensitivities, right? I've had a nutritionist create a beautiful recipe portfolio for all of you to be able to enjoy. And how do you know you have food sensitivities? Well, maybe you don't have an allergy, right? An allergy would be like, oh my gosh, here's a very clear indication. I ate this food. I have explosive digestive issues, right? Or anaphylaxis, right? There's all kinds of different variations of food allergies, but a food sensitivity may be an experience that might just chalk up as normal, right? But it's not normal. Experiences like headaches, rashes, fatigue, joint pain, bloating, constipation, all of these can be due to food sensitivities. And the beautiful thing is, once we identify what food sensitivities you have, and you are able to find amazing recipes that you love that do not have those sensitivities in them, then inflammation starts to kick back into gear. Now, we do all of this through replacement versus restriction. That is a mindset shift with the Midlife Metabolism Reset way, because sacrifice is not sustainable. You cannot uphold sacrifice long term. And when we are sacrificing or restricting ourselves, inevitably we cheat. And then there's the guilt and shame on top of that. Those are emotions that cause chemical reactions inside our body, and they are not good for our metabolism. So really, we're replacing versus restricting. We're finding amazing recipes that we love so that you can design a life that you love. Now, look at these amazingly beautiful looking food choices. These are the kinds of food choices that are recipes already created for you, that are balanced in macronutrients and micronutrients, as well as devoid of all food sensitivities, that I have my midlife ladies enjoy inside what I like to call the 10-day seasonal cleanse. Now, the whole Midlife Metabolism Reset way includes curbing sugar cravings, discovering hidden food sensitivities, eating foods that boost your metabolism and nourish your cells, detoxifying, balancing hormones, exercise strategies to accelerate fat loss and manage genes, meal planning and quick meal prep strategies, lifestyle factors, and mindset. But a great starting point, a great first step for people to take is really my 10-day seasonal whole food cleanse, in which we already begin to really look at and take action on curbing sugar cravings, hidden food sensitivities, eating foods that boost your metabolism and nourish your cells, and detoxifying all within 10 days, right? So this 10-day experience is a group experience. It includes recipes and sample meal plans, daily support inside a Facebook group, cleanse guide and protocols, live Zoom question and answer experiences, and a bonus 45-minute post-cleanse strategy session, which is a one-on-one experience with myself, which that in itself typically is $97 to begin with. We are currently in the summer season, so you can explore this at kimjakes.com/summer. If you're watching this replay in a different season, you can certainly type in fall or winter or spring, and you can always message me and ask me which one we're currently doing. What you can expect during this experience is you can lose an average of 3 to 5 pounds, say goodbye to cravings, unwanted weight gain and bloating, feel energized, clear, and confident, and transition into healthy lifestyle that you can live with and leave those old habits behind. The program starts July 1st, and that is 2022 if you're watching the replay. So July 1st, 2022. It is $97 and includes all of the things that I just spoke about. And if you are looking to sign up after July 31st, then it is $149 for that experience. So $97 is an early bird experience. So I encourage you to show up every Wednesday. I do a Wellness Wednesday chat on a different topic every week. I also host a monthly masterclass that includes an opportunity to ask questions and receive answers individually as well. If you hop onto our Zoom experience, you do need to register in order to hop onto the Zoom, but the recording is always hosted inside my Midlife Metabolism Reset for Women Facebook group. So hop into the Facebook group, enjoy the experience of being empowered by the information and inspired by the community so that you can truly transform your metabolism in midlife with ease.